So now that you have Mickey Gall, a young up-and-coming fighter, mainly known for beating up what's his name, CM Punk.
CM Punk, yeah.
But the kid is a real talent. Like he really is legit. So what was it like to get a full camp with him, and what was your like experiences going further from that as an MMA perspective?
Well, I love working the few MMA guys I've gotten to work with. I absolutely love it because it is a challenge, as you know, better than anyone. There's just so many different things they need to be good at, and I enjoy the process of trying to figure out, put the pieces of the puzzle together, and help these guys out as best as I can. It's not like they just need to be strong or they just need endurance. Like the amount of skill they have and then the physical preparation involved is unlike any other sport. So that was super fun and cool to get more involved with. I still wish, I mean, I had him for a full 8 weeks, but to me, that wasn't even scratching the surface. Like now I've continued to work with him. He took about 2 weeks off, and now I've had, I think we've just completed 12 weeks together of training from his last fight, which now I feel like he's making real progress that he needed. And so I guess the general thing I will say, and this isn't even Mickey specifically, but getting more into MMA strength and conditioning, the one thing that I was kind of baffled about, and you could probably speak to this better than I can, is just the mistake that so many fighters seem to make in our world of strength and conditioning, not the skill training, and there's a lot of skill they need to acquire, but they all try to turn their strength and conditioning work into conditioning. You know, it's everything is a 5-minute circuit.
Yeah.
What I found with Mickey, and now I'm glad we had more time because 8 weeks, we didn't even scratch the surface. One of the things he needs is just general strength. Like, and this, I love Mickey, and he knows this isn't a put down to him. Like, he needed to get stronger. He was just, generally, he was weak, but he was, it seemed like everything was, yes, you need to be in shape. It is super important to fight. 15, 25 minutes is unlike anything else in the world. But you also have to dedicate some time to training just for strength and power. And I think too many MMA athletes, they might incorporate what they think is a strength or a power movement into their programming. Like they'll say, well, I do box jumps, right? So they think they're getting explosive, but the exercise alone doesn't determine the adaptation. So if you do box jumps, but you do them in 5-minute circuits where you're jumping on and off the box, sloppy, pounding onto the ground, you're not going to develop your explosive strength that way. So you're going to continue to be the same, weak fighter that you are, non-explosive, whatever it may be. Like, you just need to dedicate some time to true strength and power development, which is separate from conditioning. You need both. And just generally speaking, that was the thing that caught my attention first, was like, man, there hasn't been a ton of time where he just focused on getting his body stronger and moving better as well. Just basic. He's incredible on the ground with where he is comfortable with jiu-jitsu and the ground game. Like, he could move well there, but his general movement wasn't where it needed to be. Like, he skipped over the foundation, kind of.
Yeah, and that's the problem with a lot of the fighters nowadays, is that they're stuck in those sport-specific movement patterns because they've been doing it for so long, and it's efficient for them. And it's more comfortable for them now.
Yes,
they want to train their sport, and even they love the sport-specific, quote unquote sport-specific exercises because it's more identifiable for them for a transferability purpose. But at the same time, they don't have a general fitness base. So we have to develop that GPP. And I actually do a good job at educating my guys, and a lot of them are veterans, so that helps out a lot too, because they've been through the ringer and now they know that they need to preserve their body through proper means of mobilization and stabilization, things like that. So I've been doing a lot of FRC type style work with them, a lot of DNS principles, intra-abdominal pressurization type techniques. But a lot of stuff that I get from Chris Duffin that I've worked with him. I work with him, primarily on that. And then, Dr. Spino over there for functional range conditioning. I do a lot of stuff like that. But that primarily is the basis of their movement quality. And then from there, I do develop a strength base and a solid aerobic base outside of camp, which I think that definitely carries over into fight preparation camp, where in 8 weeks out, their focus is going to be solely on, and to be honest, I can't compete with a lot of the skills coaches. So their focus is going to be on technical, tactical, and skills training. So for me, I have to make sure that they're physically capable of doing that once they get into camp. And then we can go ahead and fine tune it, once we get into camp, and we can peak them accordingly. But I don't want to overwork them in general preparedness when they should already be ready for that, in a sense. But most of the time I don't have that opportunity. That would be ideal.
And I think that's the key, is I don't want people to misinterpret what I'm saying as far as that strength base and that basic foundation. There's different focuses for different times of the year. And that's why I guess I got to work with Mickey for a full training camp, quote unquote, but 8 to 10, 8 to 12 weeks alone isn't enough time to develop, to build strength, because at that point, I agree with you 100%. For most fighters, that last couple weeks, your main focus has got to be on the technical, tactical aspect of the fight. The strength should have already been developed, and then you're trying to maintain that strength you gained during the earlier stages of the camp or outside of training camp. Then you want to just try to maintain that best you can while you are really focusing on the skills and the tactics that's going to go into that fight. I was trying to build that strength while in his final last weeks of preparation, and that's why I'm more excited for when the next fight is announced, because I've been able to develop that a better. He's still not where I'm always trying to help get these guys better, but he's developed a much better foundation going into this next camp, whenever it may be. Because I always say this with strength. Everybody, you talked about those sport-specific movements and what people might consider more quote-unquote functional for fighters. You'll see things like we call them shot put med ball throws into a wall, say, for punching power, or different types of weighted box jumps, and all these. They love those exercises and they look cool on Instagram, but you need a base level of strength before you could develop power. Explosive power is your ability to display your strength quickly. If you're not strong, if you don't have a foundation of strength, you can't be powerful.
If you are a fighter or someone who wants to start training in MMA, listen up. My name is Phil Daru. I am the head performance coach of American Top Team. I train some of the elite MMA athletes in the world, such as Dustin Poirier, King Mo Lawal, Frankie Edgar, Junior Dos Santos, Edson Barboza, and Joanna Jedrzejczyk. Going to MMA gyms or hiring a personal trainer can get extremely expensive over time. So if you want to get in shape and train using the exact program of the top MMA fighters for an affordable one-time price, check out Fight Ready in the description below.